What do we learn about the lineage of King Saul from 1 Chronicles 8? This is the question we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of 1 Chronicles on Walking Through the Bible.
The glory of his cross.
Today we're going to be discussing 1 Chronicles chapter 8, verses 29 to 40. But before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, turn to 1 Chronicles chapter 8, verse 29. But if you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, 1 Chronicles chapter 8, beginning at verse 29. Now the father of Gibeon, whose wife's name was Maacah, dwelt at Gibeon. And his firstborn son was Abdon, then Zur, Kish, Baal, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zecher, and Mikloth, who begat Shimeah. They also dwelt alongside their relatives in Jerusalem with their brethren. Ner begot Kish, Kish begot Saul, and Saul begot Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Eshbaal. The son of Jonathan was Meribaal, and Meribaal begot Micah. The sons of Micah were Pithon, Melech, Teriah, and Ahaz. And Ahaz begot Jehodah. Jehodah begot Alameth, Azmaveth, and Zimri. And Zimri begot Mazzah. Mazzah begot Beniah, Rapha his son, Elisha his son, and Azel his son. Azel had 6 sons, whose name was Azrikam, Bacharu, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. All these were sons of Azel. And the sons of Eshek, his brother, were Ulam, his firstborn, Jeush, his second, Eliphalet, the third. The sons of Ulam were mighty men of valor, archers. They had many sons and grandsons, 150 in all. These were all the sons of Benjamin. In this chapter, we have been discussing the descendants of Benjamin. This is the second time we have done so in this book, and we have noted each time how difficult it is to wrap our head around. That's because there was a bottleneck created in the period of Judges where the tribe of Benjamin was almost wiped out, which most likely led to some of those children of those left over being genealogically wise part of 2 tribes, since the wives of Benjamin were taken from other tribes. However, 1 Chronicles was not the only account of the genealogies of Benjamin, as there were almost certainly detailed records kept that people could consult, but these were kept in inspired scripture to ensure the original reader understood the overall lineage of the tribe of Benjamin, even if we have trouble piecing it all together. Why did the chronicler repeat the lineage of Benjamin? Well, like with Judah, where kings came from Judah, and eventually the Messiah, the first king of Israel came from Benjamin, that being Saul. And at the top of this lineage was the father of Gibeon, meaning the chief of Gibeon, who dwelt in Gibeon. We do not know from which family Gibeon came from, only learning from chapter 9 that his actual name is Jeel. But even that doesn't help us out. Regardless, he comes from the tribe of Benjamin through one of the families covered earlier on in the chapter. Maacah was this man's wife, and his firstborn's name was Abdon. Of note here in this lineage is in verse 30 with a man named Kish. Is this Kish the same one of verse 33? If it is, then we have some missing generations again, which is not uncommon in these types of genealogies, but that seems unlikely, as this list does seem to all be actual sons of Gibeon, since the firstborn, Abdon, is mentioned. This Kish, however, could have had a descendant further on down the line, whose name was also Kish, with that Kish being the father of King Saul. But there is one problem, surprise, surprise, with the genealogies of this second man named Kish. In verse 33, we're told that Kish's father is Ner. This isn't to be confused with Zur, who is the son of the father of Gibeon, for those are 2 different people. However, in 1 Samuel 9, verse 1, listen to the lineage of Kish, the father of Saul. There was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Becharath, the son of Aphiah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And then in 1 Samuel 14, verses 49 to 51, we read, The sons of Saul were Jonathan, Jishui, and Malchishua, and the names of his 2 daughters were these, the name of the firstborn Merab, the name of the younger Michael. The name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz, and the name of the commander of his army was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. Both of these passages make it quite clear that Kish is the son of Abiel, with Kish also having a brother named Ner. So how do we reconcile these two passages? By again recognizing that Jews didn't keep genealogies like we do. They often skip generations when making narratives, skipping people who were unimportant to their point. In 1 Samuel, the writer wanted us to know who the actual father of Kish was and his immediate ancestors, though not going all the way back to the father of Gibeon. The chroniclers simply wanted to tell us of Ner, who later had a descendant named Kish, with Kish, interestingly enough, having a brother named Ner too. There is no contradiction when we understand this key point. Kish, of course, had Saul, who would later become king. Saul had four known named sons: Jonathan, Malishua, Abinadab, and Eshbaal. Abinadab is known as Jeshui in 1 Samuel 14, and Eshbaal is better known to us in 2 Samuel as Ishbosheth, the man whom the tribes in the north of Israel made king instead of David. The first three sons of Saul died with him in Mount Gilboa fighting the Philistines, something we'll see the Lord willing in chapter 10, while of course Ishbosheth would remain and become king over the northern tribes of Israel for a period of about 7 years. Jonathan's son here in 1 Chronicles was said to be Meribbaal, but we know him better as Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth had a son named Micah, a man we met back in 2 Samuel 9. Interestingly enough, it was Micah who would have many descendants come from him, as the rest of the descendants of Benjamin listed here in chapter 8 are descendants of Micah. And yet through all of this, none of them threatened the throne of either Israel or Judah as one who wanted to claim power for the house of Saul. That ended with Ishbosheth, and most likely David's kind treatment of Mephibosheth had something to do with that. With the tribe of Benjamin now complete, it is time in chapter 9 to return to the Levites, who some of them were again had additional responsibilities we can learn about that we didn't know before. So we invite you back for those lessons. With that, our time is up for today. We'll be taking our 1-week spring break and we'll return, the Lord willing, on Monday, March 18th, 2024. When we return, we'll take up with 1 Chronicles chapter 9, verses 1 to 16. We hope that you'll come back and join us for that discussion when we will continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.